Alright, hello everyone and welcome back to Daily Show again. So unfortunately today I have some issues with the webcam, so you wouldn't be able to see me. But otherwise, let's get started. Alright, so firstly for the S&P 500, as you can see on the daily chart, the price is again making even recent higher high. So it's on track to actually hit the first target. So when you look at the full price, yes it is. So it's still making towards higher high. And I do see that potential resistance will definitely be between this 3,003 to 3,004 region. So depending on some sort of price action over there, then you'll determine whether there will be some sort of decent pullback. And I'll look to add potentially over here in terms of long-term investment. But in terms of trading wise, again, I say this will be where I first take my profit. And then I have a trailing stop loss remaining of a position and let it ride further upwards. So market structure wise, market structure wise remains bullish, and trend wise also remains bullish. And also the strength of the trend wise is actually normal. Basically because you get 50, this is the 200 and 150 below. All right, let's move over to Nasdaq. All right, so for Nasdaq wise, after dropping a little bit, it still bounces up a little bit, which could definitely be finding support over here at the previous resistance turn support. So I do still lean to further potential upside, especially with a bullish market structure of a high, a higher high, a low, a higher low. So with this, you get a bullish market structure, bullish trend, and strong. All right, so as you have done over in this trade, you will still be trailing your stop loss, and let's see how it goes. All right, and thereafter you have your ASA sharp after making a new recent high. It actually retraces, and then now it's finding again potential resistance here, a little bit of resistance. So I do look forward that it could actually retrace over here for potential long-term investment, but otherwise not looking to trade for ASHR, so I wouldn't suggest any trading position because as I mentioned, if you look at the price action, you can see the large gaps here and there. So because of these kind of gaps even between here, so it would be quite impossible to set a good stop loss. And even if you set a good stop loss, you will face high slippage, which defeats the purpose of trading. Because so that will affect your risk to reward very heavily. All right, so do note that for ASHR and KWEB, as I will only be looking for investment position, I would not suggest any trading setup. All right, then moving on, move over to KWEB. Okay, but before I move over to, let's update that, you get a, I think I didn't emphasize, but basically what I see here is a high, a lower high, a low, and a lower low. So what you get is actually a bearish market structure, bullish in terms of the trend, and strong in terms of the, because you have 50, 150, and 200 aligned correctly. And next up, we have KWEB. So for KWEB, what you see over here is a much tighter retracement. So you could look forward to a potential long trade setup. But like what I mentioned, because I'm not looking for a trading setup, if you have yet to enter a position like what I mentioned, this could be an opportunity for you to add in terms of your long-term investment opportunity, simply because this is the first level entry of support. So yeah, you look like a value, especially when it's also near this resistance potentially turning into support as well. But for me, because I'm a little bit more aggressive, I will look to enter my remainder position nearer towards the 50 moving average instead. But that said, you must bear in mind that if this trend continues to be upwards, this 50 simple moving average could continue to trend further and it could be buying at a much higher price as well. So this is the risk I take along for potential, waiting for the potential retracement as well. All right, so definitely you still get the bullish, get the bearish market structure with a high, lower high. But of course, if you want to treat this as a high, you get a higher high, a low, and a lower low. So right now it's actually in the neutral market structure, bullish in terms of trend, and strong in terms of the trend as well. So for trading wise, so I wouldn't be mentioning any trading setup. But otherwise, in terms of investment, I would still say that you could enter here for a long-term investment. But otherwise, you could wait for over here to add your remainder position as well. Okay, and finally for Bitcoin, actually there was a breakout earlier this morning over in the local time. So like what I mentioned yesterday, so this was the potential trade setup. In terms of the market structure, you can see right now it's a high, a higher high, a low, and a higher low, which is why I say it was turning towards a bullish market structure, bullish trend, and normal, yeah, correct. All right, then let's take a look at the 4-hour chart. On the 4-hour chart, similarly, you get a bullish market structure high, a higher high, a low, and a higher low. So the strength of the trend line is actually normal because you get 200, 50, and 150. So like what I mentioned yesterday, this was looking for potential pullback trade, and it was a pullback trade, and then after that, a bullish market structure. So a point of entry, like what I mentioned yesterday, right, was basically I was waiting for retracement, and then for a bullish market structure to continue. So, and the break of a higher high. So basically, this retracement is where I would determine my stop loss. So if you look at price action, I will set my stop loss right below the low of this, and upon the break of this high, over here, this is where my target will be. And so my final target actually for this will be somewhere along here, 9,006 to 9,700. So along here would be where I would looking to take profit. So over here, if you want, you can take, say, maybe 20% of your position, because the risk to reward isn't that great. Over here is only like, I think, 0. Yeah, you're getting like 0.5. So you can reduce your risk if you want to, but otherwise I would just let the remainder trail upwards as well. So if you want to be a little bit more aggressive, what you can do, or a bit more conservative, what you can do, you can move your stop loss higher, so that even if it does retraces suddenly, you would much more, you would minimize your loss actually. But that said, it could also drop suddenly and then rebounces upward as well. So it really depends on your trading strategy and your trading style. And most importantly, like what I mentioned, is that do stick to a consistent plan. So because over time, that is what is definitely going to give you your edge. So if you keep changing your plan, say for example, this time you do a trailing stop loss, next time you do a fixed target, it's actually going to mess up your edge, because basically if you do over an extended period of trades, the probability, even though it could be on your side, you could be losing out because of this trailing stop loss, and then you lose out in that manner. Okay, and otherwise that's it. If you have entered this trade, like I mentioned, you have been a long setup. So the break on, okay, so the target, target yesterday, no, yesterday target. But if you did catch my yesterday video, you'll remember that I mentioned that there was 2 targets. The first one was actually around here, but because I was saying that if you look over, let's say here, it will be too low, because from here to here is too low. So I will at least want to target along here, which is the 9,005. And then the next one, which is the actual target, which is the 9.6 to 9.7K. So yep. Otherwise, I do see potential retracement. So I will delete this line for the meantime. And yep. So that's it for today. And otherwise, I'll see you guys tomorrow. Take care. Bye-bye.